This is the SAT practice test number 7, section 3, math test no calculator, 1 page at a time with hints. So this video is for numbers 9 and 10. Please pause this now if you would like to try the problems without any hints. I'll go ahead with some brief hints and then go over them in more detail. So for number 9, the hint is to highlight keywords and then translate. Please look for another video on keyword translation. So if we highlight the key information, again, for word problems, highly recommend you read them at least 2 or 3 times, once to go through and understand the situation, second time to pull out the key information, and then a third time to make sure you are answering what's being asked. So, but just quickly, if we look at least as a keyword, keywords, I should say, and then we have the 640 per week, and then we have 880 per week. And to acknowledge, the 640 was for the junior directors and 880 for the senior directors. Next, we have no more than $9,700 per week, and at least, in the next sentence, at least 3 junior directors and at least, again, 1 senior director. So this is just highlighting key information to translate this problem. And then it is asking us to choose the system to represent the conditions. Make sure you acknowledge your labels, which is X and which is Y. For number 10, the hint for this one is the zero product property. Zero product property. And what the zero product property says is that if you have a factor of 0, the result has to be 0. So if you're multiplying by 0, anything times 0 is 0. So keep that in mind when you are working through number 10. Okay, so go ahead and pause if you haven't already worked these out, so that you have some time to think through them. And then I'll go ahead and go over them. Okay, so for number 9, if we translate the information into inequalities, again, paying attention to what our labels are. So for this situation, we have X for the junior directors, number of junior directors, and Y for the number of senior directors. When I go through, I like to make my variables meaningful. So I might start with using J for junior directors and S for senior directors. So let's go from the top. Marissa needs to hire at least 10 staff members. So I interpret that as at least 10 total. So if I'm representing, I'm going to go ahead with J for junior and S for senior directors. So at least means that is the minimum. So greater than or equal to 10 total staff members for this upcoming project. So we'll have the juniors who will be paid $6.40 per hour. So I would translate that as 640 times J. And the seniors who will be paid $880 per week. So I apologize if I said per hour, per week. So 880, that would be nice, 640 per hour. And 880 times S for the seniors. But her budget is no more than, so no more than would be less than or equal to $9,700 per week. And then we have other restrictions, at least 3 junior. So at least means greater than or equal to 3, and at least 1 senior director. So for senior director, greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so that just really helps me to use those variables, but then they are establishing that X is for junior. So I want to just take a note, X is for junior and Y is for senior directors. And if we look at our answer choices, the one that matches all of our translating would be choice B. Choice B. So your keywords there are the key to that problem. For number 10, so we have these unknowns, A, B, C, and D are constants, and the equation has roots of -1, -3, and 5. So roots are what makes the equation equal to 0, right? When you hear of roots. So which of the following is a factor? So if a root is what makes the equation equal to 0, the x value that makes the equation equal to 0, then our factors that we're given to choose from would have to make the equation equal to 0. So if I take x minus 1 equal to 0, then what would x have to be? X would have to be positive 1 for choice A. If I take x plus 1, I don't need the parentheses there, for any of these, x plus 1 equals 0, then x would be equal to -1. And for C, what minus 3 is equal to 0? It would be positive 3. And lastly, for D, what plus 5 equals 0? It would be -5. So if these are the factors that were given in our answer choices, the roots for those factors, right, the values for x that make those factors equal to 0, which one of those is one of the roots they provide? It would be the -1, which comes from a factor of x plus 1. So if you'd like to know more on that, please look for other videos on the zero product property. All right, thank you for watching. Next page, we will go on to numbers 11 and 12.